Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my Business by Design Summit. And I am Carrie Millspaw. And in today's hot seat, I have Kris Gilbertson. She's not just an excellent business coach. She's a good friend of mine, too, and fellow Pisces. She is currently in Chicago. And I've always known Kris as being in Denver, Colorado. But now she's traveling the world. And that's what a lifestyle business is all about. So sit back and be inspired as Kris shares with us how she takes clients into their high ticket items and really teaches you how to create sales funnels that actually work. So welcome to our show today, Kris. How are you?
Well, I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me here, Carrie. I cannot wait to share this with your tribe and community. We're gonna have a blast today.
I love it. I love it. And I'm loving the background. We were just talking earlier. She's in Chicago, but the background, I guess, is New York. So we're just trying to confuse you guys. See if you're paying attention. It's all good. So tell us, Kris, how did you get into the world of being an entrepreneur? Inspire us a little bit with your story.
Yeah, well, the fun thing about being an entrepreneur is we come in, right away thinking, oh, I know exactly what I want to do, and you get started. And it turns into this crazy journey. I love helping entrepreneurs with this journey because I myself have been through a crazy one in a good way. So I did actually start my first business when I was 19. It was a health and fitness nutrition company. But really where I really started was about 6 years ago when I got into real estate. And I had done the corporate America thing. I started out as a admissions representative, enrolling people into higher education programs online when they were going back at a more mature age. And then I raised myself through the ranks. I became a director of career services, And so I would help people actually figure out what their careers were going to be and really be able to help them find their passion degree, what they were going back to school for, where they could actually be really excited and enthusiastic about what they were going to be doing. So there's three things that I learned there. I learned one about lead generation because that whole principle was all based on lead generation. Second, I learned how to actually help people find their passion of what, align with their skill sets, what they're excited about, not just how to make money, but actually really fulfill their lifestyle and who they really were as a person. And then lastly, I really figured out content marketing and how to help people structure content. So I helped develop a lot of the curriculum, the online curriculum. So I really learned how to teach and coach. So I worked there, worked my way up to the top, was on the board of directors, and it was great. It was a great learning experience, but it was that 9 to 5. And so I was like, get me out of here. I'm ready to go do something different. So I went downtown, started doing some other sales things, and I got into real estate. A couple of my friends were actually making a lot of money doing real estate and had done very well in the Chicago market. And they said, why don't you check it out? So I researched all the different avenues, and there's all different industries. There's all different type, fix and flip, buy and hold, seller finance notes. And I got focused into the luxury space where I can sell luxury homes through auctions. And I got really excited about it. But I found very quickly, one, I was traveling a lot. And two, it wasn't very passion fulfilling for me. It was, the marketing piece was great, but I realized right away it wasn't something that I was inspired to do. And so I was on the road 6 days a week, helping people get out of also distressed properties and then selling the luxury homes. And it was intense. If you've ever been a road warrior, it is a ton. Like the movie Trains, Planes, Automobiles had nothing on what I was doing. You were constantly moving, driving, flying, and I was home for maybe 24 hours once a week, and I had no life. I had great income, no life. So I left that, and then I did what a lot of people do when they go online. They follow all the experts. So I became a seminar junkie. I was going to all the seminars. I was trying to get as much information to understand everything. And what happened was it's kind of crazy, but I was sitting on my apartment in Chicago, and I was ready almost to go back working for the position that I was doing before when I was traveling. But what I'm kind of like, it's like taking me back right now because I was literally on the floor with all the paperwork, all the books, like all the things saying, I have to figure this out. I spent over like $60,000 trying to figure out how to connect the dots online. I was frustrated. I didn't want to go back and work for somebody else. I didn't want to go back to my old real estate gig. And I was like, I have to figure this out. And it really was the aha moment where I said, okay, I'm going to pick one thing. I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to take it off and launch. So I started with podcasting. I started out teaching people how to get their voice and message out there. And I loved it. It was great because I was able to inspire people across the world. And I started to see things was working. All of a sudden I started getting leads coming in. People were connecting with me. I started to get joint venture partners. So that's when I realized I needed a signature program. So I launched my first course, and I took that onto the marketplace, and I had a blast with it. I realized right away, though, is low ticket was not the way. So I started out low ticket, and I had a lot of great clients, but the problem was I was having to get, I'm not kidding, hundreds of people on these webinars to get people to sign up for the $300 product, and to hit even 10K a month, you're having to sell a lot. So I realized there's got to be a better way. So I started researching and figuring out a different model that I could get into, and I started transitioning into higher tickets. So I started raising my rates, creating different programs that allowed people that I could teach and train how to build their funnels, how to set up their systems. And so it's been a very organic process. But I've done all the different methods out there. You know, the content marketing, the joint ventures, the stage speaking, all the different ways, Facebook ads, all the different ways that you can create clients. And I went through all of those processes to figure out where I'm at today. So it's kind of a longer story there, but that's where I'm at.
No, I love it. I love the visual of you seeing you with like books and papers everywhere and trying to figure everything out.
I'm not kidding. I wish you guys take pictures of before and then where you're at today. I really seriously wish I had taken a picture to show. I mean, I still have some of my programs, but most of it I got rid of. But I mean, I'm not kidding. It's that overwhelm. It's that confusion. And we all go through it. I mean, most entrepreneurs I speak with are like, Kris, I'm so overwhelmed. And then you stay stuck because you're just like, you're frozen like a deer in headlights, and you don't know which direction to go because you don't want to put more work in and be like, well, that's, a year later, now I'm down the wrong path. So I get it, but that's where I was at.
That's so true. We all want to be all in, but we're uncertain of that boat that we're going to jump on. Is it got holes in it? Is it going to carry me across the water? Yeah. That kind of thing. So that's awesome. I love that you also learned the low ticket, high ticket kind of mindset too, and share more about that. Cause a lot of people think, well, no one's going to buy from me if I raise my prices.
Well, and that's what I love to talk about, because here's what happens. People are told, go low ticket to get started and get your ideas out there. So what I was told was the funnel process of start with like an ebook, then have a $197 product, then have, a $2,000 product, and then you can move up to a $3,500. And then, a few years later, you can have like a $10,000 coaching program once you've developed your skills. Here's the thing. I'm going to teach you something here today where we can align with what you're good at, what you're passionate about, what the market's going to buy, and where you know you're going to be attracting your ideal clients, and you can flip that funnel, like starts low, and you can flip it where you start high and only work with the best clients that are right for you. So here's what I want to share. One of my clients that's in my mastermind right now, his name's Clarence, and he came to me and he had done very similar to my story. He'd spent like $70,000 in all these different programs, and he wasn't having any traction. So we looked at who he was talking to, where he was actually connecting with people, and what he was saying, and what he was wanting to help them with. And I realized there's quite a few things missing. So we tweaked a few things, and I gave him specific questions, which you'll get as a bonus here at the end of the training. But excuse me, I gave him specific questions to go and connect with either his best clients, or, since he didn't have clients yet, potential prospects. And what that did is it illuminated the pain that they were having. And when he connected with them, now remember, I didn't say this. He was coaching hours for dollars. He was trading $150 for 1 hour of his time. So we flipped that, and I said, we're going to start with a high ticket package. Okay. And we mapped out what that was. And then we're going to go find the pain point. So he went out and he connected with potential prospects. And one guy came back and said, you're exactly who I need. And last week he just signed him up for a $7,000 package, having only traded hours for dollars. So this doesn't have to be that complicated when we really get down to knowing the 4 pillars for your marketing, which we'll talk about in a second. But the principle that we're talking about here is really, you can start low ticket and you can build your way up, or you can find what I call your zone of genius and start right at the top and attract the right clients that are going to want to work with you. And here's the thing, the mindset, the 2 things that pop up is, 1, the reason you don't want to raise your rates is because, like what Carrie said, you're worried no one's going to pay you. The reason that's happening is because you don't know really who your ideal client is yet. You don't know who they are and what their main pain point is and how you fit into that hole. Once you know what that is, your confidence will go through the roof, and it's going to make a huge difference. The other thing is that you don't have a consistent lead funnel. So I went through this. I had a list of a couple thousand people from my $300 program that I launched with to start. And I thought, oh my gosh, my business is going to dry up. Who's going to pay me? They've all paid me only $300. How am I going to make this jump to a $3,500 program? That was my first jump. And what I realized is I took my own advice. I said, okay, I just need to know like just how I made my first program, what their pain point is, who they are, how to communicate to them. And so I launched my first webinar. This was when I jumped to high ticket, it was December 2013, so just a couple years ago. It was right before Christmas too. Everybody's like, don't do a webinar then. I'm like, I'm doing it when I want to do it.
That's right.
A webinar, and I had I did the webinar, the funnel, went to a strategy session, and enrolled 28 people in a $3,500 program in a week, and I only talked to about 35. So the thing that's great about this is you don't have to talk to that many people to enroll into those programs versus low ticket. You have to talk to a lot of people, and you feel salesy. That's what I hear from a lot from my clients, because I felt the same way. When you're selling low ticket, you feel like you have to be like salesy and you have to like sell them all this stuff. And high ticket, you're going to be yourself. You're going to be authentic. You're going to have great information. And then if you only talk to a couple people, then that's okay, because out of that, you'll probably enroll one or two. And that's all that you need when you're operating at a higher level. Then you get to serve them more. You get to have more time back. They're more accountable. They're just at a different level. They have more skin in the game, so they're going to listen to what you say, and they're going to show up and ask questions. It's just a whole different ballgame. Not that low ticket is bad. I'm not saying that. I did that before. But if you really want to leverage your business and be able to live and travel and do what you want and not be stressed out about where your clients are going to be coming from and going on this roller coaster syndrome, moving to high ticket allows you to do that. So a lot of fun there.
I couldn't agree more, because you're like me. I like to give more, and I want to know I can. I'd rather give more to a handful than just be spread so thin and no one's getting any results.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you're in business, see, Carrie and I work very similar. We get in your business. Like, we're in there with you. Like, we're holding you accountable. I have a Google Doc on all my clients. I know what they're doing, where they're at. I can see what they're doing. I'm kind of like the mother hen, because I want you to have success. Now, if that's not the fit for you, then just information marketing and selling people into a low ticket program where they don't have access to you, that's a great model. I have many top internet marketing friends that do 7+ figures that love that model. That works for them. But knowing where you fit and what aligns with kind of what your values are and what feels good for you is what you have to make a decision on. Because both models work. I've done both. And you can use the same funnel marketing. You can use the webinar to the strategy session or just sell straight to the program. We've just found that moving to high ticket enables you to have more freedom, flexibility, and a lot of fun.
I agree. I also want to touch point on the price too, because I accidentally on purpose was pulled into a funnel, paid $37, then went into a program that I didn't even know I had a profile and all of this other stuff too, because again, it was $37. It didn't even matter. It didn't even hit me. Then I was charged $79 for a couple months in a program I didn't even know I belonged to. It was like a membership. Again, there's no pain point. The price is so low, I didn't even bother long enough to look at the email, to log into the profile, to even have an account. And I'm sure this coach has a ton of great content, but because the price was so low, I didn't even see it was worth my time to even log on. Yeah. So it's a huge difference.
Well, the other thing that's great about this is why, honestly, this is probably the number one reason why I love high ticket. I am not a great copywriter. This is one of the biggest things I've struggled with in the online space. And everybody's like, you have to have these sales letters and you have to have all this copy. When you move into high ticket, I teach my clients how to create frameworks. So you understand what the pain point is, and then you paint a story and frameworks, which I'm going to show you a couple here in a minute, that are going to allow your prospects to enroll themselves in how you think and how you operate. And more importantly, they're going to enroll themselves in seeing how they can work with you and how you are the person that can connect the dots for them going forward. So you don't have to be necessarily a massive, brilliant copywriter. Yes, you have to have some of your ads and some of that crafted correctly. But what's great about high ticket is when you're able to express yourself and be authentic and really address the pain where you can have a solid enrollment conversation, I don't have a sales page. I mean, it goes literally from a Facebook ad to a webinar to they get on the phone with me. And if they're asking about what the program is and they want to know the price in the chat, they're probably typically not a right client for me. Or I'll refer them to say, hey, sign up for a strategy session and we can talk. But what's great about that is you don't have to be so concerned with all of the intricacies of internet marketing. You can keep it simple. I mean, incredibly simple, and get incredible results.
I like simple. So show us your strategies, my dear. I'm ready to learn.
Okay, so first I want to start with what I call your zone of genius. Okay, so I'm going to put this up here. We're going to have a little fun today. I'm a webinar girl, so I'm so used to webinars. So I like to have my little study guides with me. Okay, so if you can see this, this is what I call your marketing zone of genius. So here's what happens in the marketplace. One, you're told, okay, start low ticket and build your funnel up, right? Well, we're going to flip that and we're going to start you right at the top to attract your high paying clients, whether that's maybe a $2,000 program, maybe it's a $5,000 program, whatever. But first, we got to get you laser focused where you feel really confident that you know you're in alignment with your zone of genius. So I'm going to put this up here. So you'll see there's 4. Can you see that? Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
There's 4 pillars. Actually, I just want to zoom in so I can see if I can make sure I see how this looks. Okay, so there's 4 zones here. Now, the first zone that you're usually told about is, hey, go monetize your passion, right? Go monetize your passion and you're going to live the life, you're going to live the dream online. Okay, that's great. That's just one zone though. The next is we have to align it with your skill sets. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs, when I talk with them, they are like, Kris, well, I know funnels work. I know that this sells online. So I'm going to start figuring out how to do that. And then I can start my business. The problem is if you're trying to learn and teach at the same time, you're out of integrity. And you're also going to cause so much stress on you and your clients that it's not gonna flow. So what I do is I want us to look at your passion, what you're passionate about, you're excited about. Because if this is missing, you're gonna quit your business. Like all my businesses, I started with these 3 and I didn't have the passion. So that's why I got bored, I got tired, I got frustrated. And then your skill sets though, we have to align that with what you're good at, what you're actually good at that we can start with. Yeah, this is what most people don't talk about is this side of the chart. If I can read this. Okay. So
upside down.
You're right. I know I have to look at it like this. Okay. The top part is where is there pain in the marketplace for your ideal client? Okay. Here's the thing. You can also align your skill sets and your passion, but if you are going after a pain point that isn't your ideal client, you're attracting clients you don't want to work with. We've all had those clients. Maybe we've been those clients, who knows? But here's the thing. Like if you're attracting clients right now that are sucking the life out of you, and I don't mean it in a bad, I mean, there's coaches for everybody, but if you're attracting clients that are you're not excited to show up and coach, you're not excited to work with, it's because we haven't found the pain in the marketplace that aligns with your ideal client and aligns with your skill sets and your passion. Okay? Now, the last part here is what will people pay for that creates a leveraged business model for you. So here's the last circle that most people then is they figure these 3 out and they're like, okay, great, I'm going to go sell low ticket now. But they're miserable in the model. They're not enjoying the model. So I know this is kind of a lot to throw at you. But what I want, an exercise that you can do right now is I want you to brain dump all of your skill sets here. Take a piece of paper and write all your skill sets down. Write all your passions down and see where those intersect. You can't really see it, but see where that intersects right here, okay? Then what I want you to do is if you don't know who your ideal client is, it's time for you to get clear on who you want to work with. Now, if you haven't brought clients in yet, this can be a little tricky. It's kind of like the catch-22, the chicken before the egg. So the thing with an entrepreneur is you have to start. You have to take action and just get out there. So the reason I created this is to help entrepreneurs just pick a zone and get started with it. What you're doing today is not going to be the same thing you're doing maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, maybe 3 months from now, but that's okay. I want you to get feedback from the marketplace so we can tweak it even a little bit more and get you steering your ship, because we all build it as we fly it. That's the best way to go as an entrepreneur, because a perfect plan isn't anything if you don't take action on it. Okay, so write out all your skill sets, write out all your passion, and see what intersects there. Okay, and have fun with this. This doesn't have to be perfect. Don't overthink this. Just have some fun with it. Then what I want you to do is I want you to research 5 top experts in your niche and find out what the buzzwords are, what the pain points are, what's going on where there's pain in the marketplace, and then look at the blog posts, look at the comments, look at the interactions in the groups, in Facebook groups, and see what people are talking about, and then check out who they are. Now, I know this is kind of weird, but what's great about this, and my clients love this, is because they can start to see and understand who their ideal client is. If you already know who this is, you're already set. And then the last one is, let's look at what people are paying for. Look at the programs that people are signing up for. What experts, what are they going through, and look at how they're structured. And then what I want you to do is I want you to find what I call your zone of genius, and I want you to find what they don't have that you can create where all four of these align. So I know that's a lot, but what's great about this is if you don't have one of these circles, that's where there's frustration in your business. If you're not having a model that you like, you're miserable. If you're not having your passion, you're not having fun. If your skill sets aren't there, if you've left that circle out and you're just trying to sell what the marketplace will buy, the problem is you're out of integrity, or you're not feeling, you feel like a fraud. Okay. And then the last one is, if you don't have pain for your ideal clients, you're attracting clients that aren't, you're attracting clients, but they're not feeling your soul. You're not like jazzed to be talking to them and helping them. Okay. So that is your zone of genius. So that's the first section. Do you have any questions on that?
I love it. I love it. I love the 4 quadrants too. It's like all balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. Once we figure this out, that's why your sweet spot, your zone of genius, can now we can charge premium rates for that. Because now you're in alignment, you're vibrating at a really high frequency, because you know what the pain point is of your ideal client. You have a model that you love. You're in your passion, and you're also in your skill, in your zone of your skill sets. So nothing's missing there, and that's where I can help my clients shift to high-end tickets, like right away. And that's what's beautiful. And even if it's a $2,000 program to start, maybe you do an 8-week coaching program, that's okay to start with that. I teach more of that in my advanced stuff, where we talk about how to set up a signature program that's high priced. But what I want to, so that's your zone of genius. So do that exercise. And then the next thing that I want to do is show you the 4 main marketing pillars. Now, the reason this is important, and you guys will get all these gifts at the end, so I know this is a lot, but I'll make sure that you guys get all this. So this is really important. So the 4 main pillars to up-leveling your pricing depend on these 4. And if you can't answer these questions, that's why you're struggling a little bit with raising your rates. So the first is, you have to know who your audience is. So I've got a great story. This is one of my clients that came to me. She had been talking to an audience for 1.5 years. She had a signature program done. She had a webinar done. She had thought leadership. I mean, she's incredibly smart. And she was talking to this audience, and it was crickets. She wasn't getting any response. Now, what she helps people do is with intuition, but she was talking to pharmacists. So when I first talked to her, and I met her, and she'll tell this story too. Her name's Mary. She's awesome. She goes, well, Kris, I really want to help pharmacists, because that's all she knew. So here's the thing. I did the same thing. I was in real estate. I wanted to keep one foot in real estate and one foot here, and I was straddling both worlds, and I was tottering. I couldn't get anything off the ground. So when I talked to Mary, I said, well, let's look at this. And we looked at her message. We looked at how she helped people. And I said, do you really feel that pharmacists are who you should be talking to? And for 1.5 months, she persisted with me. She wanted to be like, no, I can make this work. I can make this work. Because, we're entrepreneurs. We're headstrong, right? So she's like, no, I can make this work. Finally, after, some questions and helping her probe a little bit, she realized, wait a second. Because I said, how many of them actually want help? She goes, okay, like 2%. So when she got clear in understanding that it wasn't her audience, the minute we flipped her audience, she did her first webinar. This was last December, just 8 months ago. She did it 2 days before Christmas, you guys. 2 days before Christmas. We mapped out her signature program, what our webinar was going to be about. She had 5 people on, 4 enrolled at a $2,000 program, and she had another $2,000 client come in 2 weeks later. Her first 10K month following this process. So what I'm saying is, we have to know who your audience is. So you may have the right message. If you're getting right now, well, I don't know if that's really for me. We're talking to the wrong people. Okay. So that's first. That first is for high ticket, because no matter if you're selling low ticket or high ticket, if you're talking to the wrong people, it doesn't matter what you say. You could be the best copywriter. You could be the most, poetic person, the best, theatrical person. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So when you're talking to the right audience, though, you could mess it up and they're still going to want to work with you. That's the beauty of that. Now, the second is, we want to know where they're hanging out then. Okay. So a lot of people like to go and they'll just go for like what everybody's doing online. And the thing is, Facebook ads are beautiful. They work incredibly well. There's other platforms though too where you can find your clients. So we want to know where they're hanging out. Okay. Now the third piece is what's the most immediate pain point. These two are typically the two I find that most people have the most trouble with. And the number one most immediate pain point is, if you take anything away from this today, is to know what that pain point is. Because here's the thing, we as humans don't pay for pleasure. Now we pay like for trips and travel, but when we're in a state of wanting to create transformation, no matter what, even if you don't call yourself a coach, an expert, whatever it is, we're all in the business of transformation here, helping them maybe weight loss, mindset, marketing, business, money, whatever it is. There's a goal that your prospect wants to get to, and that's what you help them get there to. If you don't know what that pain point is though, the number one, you will constantly come up to things like this. Well, maybe we can talk in a couple months. Maybe that sounds good. I don't know if this is quite right for me. I need to think about it. Let me get back to you. If you're hearing any of that, it's because you haven't hit this number one pain point, okay? And the reason that's important is because when I ask entrepreneurs, what's the pain point of your ideal client, they'll tell me a pain point, and I'll be like, that's not it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you've got 10 over here, 1 over here. A lot of times, this is the number one pain point. This is like the 10 pain point, okay? People will be like, over here. So it's not even 1, 2, 3, or 4, like those immediate pain points where like, my arm's broken, I need help now. They're talking about something way out in the future that, yes, your client wants that, but that's not what's getting them to start today. So here's what I want to take away from this. Your number one pain point is meeting your client where they're at. Not over here where they want to get to. It's meeting them right now where they can see they can make a change, and then your program takes them to here, okay? So that's super important, which leads me then to this last piece, and you can't do this if you don't know what this is if you can see that, how do you clearly communicate what you do? And very quickly and very effectively. So a lot of my clients have come to me and they have these figured out, but they haven't figured out how to communicate it in a way that has people say, you're exactly who I want to work with. You're exactly who I want to work with. Or I've been looking for you. Where have you been? Or I wish I had met you first. If you're hearing that, you have nailed this. And this, my friends, can be just a short, simple statement you could use at events, which I teach, but also this now becomes what you communicate on your webinars, on your marketing, on your strategy sessions. And this is how you enroll high ticket clients with ease, with confidence, and just being yourself. Okay. So this is the 4 main marketing pillars to up-leveling your pricing.
Love it. Love all of it.
I talk fast, I know, so make sure that you stick around to the end, because I will make sure that you guys get all these gifts and training, a special training on it too, where I go more in depth on it to help you with this. But the one thing I want to share, the last thing I want to say is that your what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just trying to mind blank here. You're better than you think. Like you're really talented. The thing is, I know you don't like, I'm not talking directly to anyone right now, but what I want to say is that when you figure this out and you get the zone there, you don't have to worry about competition anymore. You can become the expert and own it and grow with your business and have a lot of fun. So I hope that's been beneficial.
It's super beneficial. And I was going to ask you that. I mean, I notice with my clients, they get stuck in one spot for so long, and you're just like, oh my goodness, they're still trying to figure out their purpose or what lights them up. But I like that you segment it out a little bit. I think it gets into the solution quicker. But do you notice that? Do you notice that some people get stuck in certain spots?
I do. Well, typically most people come to me when they've tried everything and they still don't have a working funnel. They're getting low-end tickets, or they're getting low-ticket clients, or they're still trading hours for dollars, and then they want to create high-paying clients. They want to figure out how to create a high-paid signature program. They have programs, but they're not at the higher level that they want to get to. That's typically who I work with. But for more the newbie, like you're just getting started, I'm not kidding you. Do this exercise, and then pick one thing that aligns with all of them and go. So the one thing that I did well, even though I made a lot of mistakes when I first started out as an entrepreneur, the one thing I did well though is I would pick an idea and I would take action on it. I would pick an idea and take action on it, because the minute you take action, the universe can send you the next piece of the puzzle. So many people try to do this in what I call your vortex. You're trying to do it all by yourself in your head, at home, wherever you're at, trying to be like, what's my idea? What's my $1 million idea? And the thing is, until you start taking action, you don't get the rest of the pieces of the puzzle. So I totally agree with you. It can be, because I was there too. I mean, I was like, I was like running around with my head cut off, trying to like try all these different ideas. And until you pick one, you really can't take action on it. So just follow that, keep it simple, pick something that's in your zone of genius, take action on it, get feedback, see if you like it. Be open to just getting the feedback you're going to get. You don't have to knock it out of the park right away. Most of us don't. But when you start to get more feedback, you can find out who more your ideal clients are. Because especially when you're first getting started, you don't really know yet until you start coaching and getting in there. And then you can just be like, oh, okay, well, that was a great experience, but I want a different one. So you just keep moving forward.
Do over, please. No, that's so true. Clarity comes from action. People think it comes from just meditating somewhere. That's not going to happen. I mean, that's great, but you got to take the action. I like that visualization of the universe. Like, okay, you get piece number 2 now. Good job.
Yes, it's so true though. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Any other gems that you have for us today, Kris?
Yeah, the last thing I want to end on is when you're looking to raise your prices is that there's a verbiage in the marketplace that makes my skin crawl, and it's experts saying charge what you're worth. So most people say you haven't raised your prices yet because you're not charging what you're worth. Charge what you're worth and go out there and make it happen, right? Here, the reason it makes my skin crawl is because that is subconsciously programming you wrong. Look, we're all priceless. We're human beings. We have this amazing, mind and body and creativity. I mean, just being on the planet alone is like a miracle. So our worth has nothing to do with this. Like, you are priceless. The difference is what people pay you for is the transformation you create for them. So the thing that that's why this is so important, is understanding what their pain point is and then how you can help them. Because once you know what that is and you know what the transformation is, that's what they're buying. They're not buying, they're buying you, but not your worth. You know what I mean? They're buying your transformation. But more importantly, they're not buying modules. A lot of people are like, oh, I've got 100 modules. I've got 100 videos in my programs. Like, I don't want to watch 100 videos. I don't have time for that. I know you don't either. So what you want to be able to do is know it's a transformation. They're signing up with you to get the results that you can create. And so what so many people think, since they hear in the marketplace, charge what you're worth, you are struggling with self-worth and you're like, well, I can't do that yet. I can't charge that. And it's total BS. It's total BS. And when you follow this and get in your zone of genius and then figure out what the pain point is and how to clearly communicate it, you can bring clients in. You can bring high-paying clients in. And the better you get, the more you can keep increasing and moving forward. So I just want to end with that because that stopped me for a while. It really kind of messed with me. And I want you to know you're priceless and you can do this.
I love that. That is so true. It messes with everybody's head. Well, what am I worth? All these questions show up.
Exactly. Because you're already questioning if you're going down the right path. Because you're doing, entrepreneurs, it's a lonely process when you're first getting started until you start making connections and getting your circle and other entrepreneurs that you can connect with. In the beginning, it's so having a trusted advisor or having people, that's why I always say get a coach that you can trust, that can hold your hand and help you. Just getting that feedback and like what Carrie said, clarity is the key to success. It's the key to moving forward. So even if you just need someone to reverberate that against, that's why I love with having a coach to help you with that, because it gets clarity and gets you taking action, not sitting at home oscillating around, well, what idea do I do? Where do I go? What do I do next?
Yes. And that's why a lot of people come to me. I need some help. I've got shiny object syndrome and I'm all over the place. I don't know what to do next.
Exactly.
Keep them on point. Yes.
Exactly.
Best thing ever. So tell us how we can get in touch with Kris.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carrie and I, we put together a really cool package for her summit. So if you go, so what I want to, let me see what side this is. So all of the frameworks that I just was talking about, I have a training attached with this that holds your hand step by step. And then what I also want to offer up is a complimentary strategy session with me personally, not with anyone on my team, where you and I can talk about your business, where you're at, what isn't working. Is it something on the Zone of Genius? You don't know what the pain point is. You don't know what your model is, where you're struggling to raise your rates, get more clients, whatever that is that we can talk about. Or maybe you don't have a working funnel. Like, let's figure out what your game plan is from now until the end of the year. There's still plenty of time to rock it out. This is the last 4 months of the year, the best time of the year to bring in a ton of clients and have a lot of fun. So let's get you a game plan that's a strategy that you can take well into 2016 and rock out next year and have a solid 6+ figure year. So if you go over to, let me just see if this works, go to KrisGilbertson.com /VIP. I have such a long name. So it's Kris, here, I'll do this one. It's KrisGilbertson.com /VIP. As soon as you go over there, it's going to take you to my calendar, schedule a time, and then it's going to have an application afterwards. That's just going to be information on your business. So you're all going to get one of these complimentary. I usually don't do that. But for Carrie's Tribe, I want to make sure you guys are taken care of and that we can talk about the concepts we had today. And plus, I love to get to know you guys, in person. So go to KrisGilbertson.com /VIP. It'll be a 45-minute private strategy session with yourself and myself. And then we'll talk about your strategy. We'll talk about the pain points. We'll talk about what your funnel, whatever it is that you need clarity on to help you move forward. And then I'll also send you over the trainings the minute that you get registered. So it's been an absolute honor and pleasure being here. Thank you so much, Carrie, for having me.
This has been awesome. Best interview ever. Thank you, Kris.
Thank you. Well, it's a blast. So I'm excited to see you guys with whatever course you're going to just go take action. Get a little strategy, but go take action. Get out there and make it happen.
I love it. I love it. So thank you so much, Kris, for being on our show today. Much love to everyone that's joined us, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next Business by Design Summit.